Welcome to United States of Formula One. Nikki,
Cookie,
we're going to break down the Mexico Jeep. How do you say it? You used to say it.
I think it's the Gran Premio de la Ciudad de Mexico.
Perfect.
I think.
Now, amazing race.
Yes.
One of my favorite races of the year, actually.
It wasn't as exciting as Singapore.
Singapore was definitely the best race.
That was the most boring race. That was something that if I was trying to get into F1, that was not the way to do it. But this race, right? Do we want to get right into what happened immediately?
Well, let's get into the grid.
Okay,
there's a couple things I want to talk.
Okay.
I want to talk about basically two surprises.
And a reminder.
Actually, to be honest with you, only one surprise in my book. Two surprises for some of you out there.
Okay. Elaborate.
Well, the biggest surprise, Piastri out in Q1.
Yes.
Not so much of a surprise for me at his home track. Sergio Perez, we talked about it last week.
I even thought he was going to step up in front of the home crowd and perform a little.
In a way, I was hoping for him for the country.
No, you weren't. You want his demise because you want.
I don't want. He's been in Formula One.
You want Lawson to get that seat on Red Bull because that's been your prediction all along.
And we're going to break that down in a later segment. But yeah, let's jump into the race. I mean, basically,
race starts out
Mexico
normal.
Altitude, one of the highest altitudes. Motors are run a little bit different. One of the longest straightaways before a turn.
Okay.
And Yuki Tsunoda.
What does he do? Oh,
Albon.
dear.
Yeah. So
sweet sassafras. That didn't last long.
No. So, and the steward said that it was a racing incident.
So nobody's fault.
So nobody's fault.
Okay.
Do
you agree with that?
I think Yuki tried to fit into a spot that was a little tiny. So and he knocked out Alex Albon. So he knocked
Was
out.
Albon upset about that? Did you hear anything if he's upset about that after the race?
No, not really.
I didn't either.
No, I mean, in Albon, he's a mid-level racer, so I don't know if you even care.
I think both of them thought, oh, this is great. Yeah. So instead of having...
How about in lap one, let's go tour Mexico.
Let's go drink it up. So that starts exciting. I remember we're at the camper watching, and I'm like, oh my God, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Not that you're rooting for Rex, but it was just excitement right away. And then we had a safety car for what? 4 laps?
4 or 5 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we were talking about. I'm like, there's like 86% chance of a safety car.
You did tell me
race.
right when that happened. You're like, well, I guess it's 100% at this point. So then right after that.
Main portion, our Lando Norris, Verstappen, more drama. 20 seconds. We're going to break it down more in one of the next segments as well.
We have to. There's a lot to talk about there.
But coming drama from the United States to Mexico, Max gets 2 10-second penalties, and we're going to break them down later.
He basically shoved him off the track
twice.
And then when he tried to get back on, he shoved him off again.
He shoved him into the grass.
Yep.
Pushed him out. I mean, it was a little ridiculous, and we're gonna.
We were watching it, and we were wondering, is he going to get penalized? And I love that they dropped the hammer and said that's 2 10-second penalties, and we was sitting in the pits for.
The pit stop was.
He's just sitting there for like 25 seconds, like. Well,
they were. Yeah, I mean, and they can't touch the car, so the guys are like.
Yeah, they were keeping it warm with the blowers, and I just want to go. I just want to go. It's like, well, don't be an idiot, and don't push Lando off, and quit being a bully, just because you're big time. So I'm starting to pull for you a little on this Lando guy. I know you're a bromance with him, but Max is starting to rub me the wrong way a little bit.
That was so unnecessary how he raced him on that. So
then, as the race is concluding,
so you got Sainz. And Leclerc, basically 1 and 2.
So you got Ferrari.
Yep. And Norris is slowly but surely catching up.
Yep.
And Leclerc.
McLaren's been fast.
And Leclerc basically, he pulls out the save of all saves.
He hit the banana.
He hit the banana and saved it.
It was so wiggly. Like you see him there. He's just wiggling around like crazy, and he's dodging.
I think his back tire hit some of the.
Yeah, I think it hit those advertisements. Yeah. He's like slaloming through them. But I mean, I think in the end, he gifted Norris second.
Yes.
Would he have caught him anyhow? Maybe.
He would have.
The save is amazing though, because he could have crashed there, gets a DNF. Instead, Ferrari still gets 1-3. Ideally, they get 1-2. Oh. But I mean, I think it ended out okay.
It did. A lot. I mean, there was so much that happened in that race. A lot of great battling with the Mercedes. Your boys.
The Haas brothers came together, finishing 7 and 9.
I mean,
Nico comes in 9th.
I mean, 2 people up there in the top 10 for Haas is huge.
Yeah, and Mercedes had been struggling because what your boy, what was it, Toto, saying
yes.
you put him in a crappy car last week. I mean, they finished 4-5 just behind the Ferraris, and
at
this point,
they had their own battle throughout the entire race.
The two of them,
just the two of them, we talked about their own battle, and it was good.
We had a bet that the Haas team would finish in the top 6. They would go 5-6, so we weren't necessarily rooting.
Well, they paid a lot, so that's why.
For Mercedes to take each other out, we're like, they are battling hard.
If they take each other out, that's a whole lot of money in our pocket. Yeah. So that was our dark horse.
And Piastri does well. Obviously, for starting in, what did he start in? 17th?
Like 16th or 17th, and then moved up to 8th.
I mean, McLarens are fast. He didn't help Lando, but he really did battling back after being out in Q1. So.
No, and I believe that the McLarens, the McLaren has the fastest car. I believe that Norris had the fastest car, and if it wasn't for Max Verstappen, because if you watched our fire picks predictions, I did pick Norris and then 2 Ferraris.
I was terrible.
So
I thought Verstappen would do well. I'm never going to pick for him again because he really pissed me off this week. But you said Lando 1, then Ferrari 2-3, and you were 1 spot away from predicting it again. So, I mean, you're kind of on one right now.
Max definitely stole that away from me. So
because if he hadn't done that, because yes, he got penalized 20 seconds. Yeah, but he ruined his race, but he pushed Lando.
Him so far out that, so.
So there's Sainz. I think Leclerc. I'm sorry. How do you say his name?
Leclerc's
been getting the love recently with Ferrari, but
Carlos
Sainz starts on the pole,
another win,
and holds it. And I apologize because I said it was fake news when he was on the pole, and he held it. So I got to give him his props. So where are we at? We'll get into the standings, both driver and team, in depth.
Well,
in the third segment,
as far as driver-wise goes, it's going to be hard for Norris. Mathematically, he has a chance.
He still does, and this was a boost to that.
Yeah, and honestly, Leclerc now has a better chance
to get up to Norris.
Okay, at this point,
I think Norris is racing so well.
I think so too, and as long as Max doesn't crash him, then I think he'll be fine. But you called it last week. Got to give you props. Ferrari overtakes Red Bull in the Constructors Series. So now it really could be a battle between Ferrari.
I mean, Red Bull's fallen off.
McLaren.
They had it locked up 6 weeks ago or 6 races ago, and now it's a battle between McLaren and Ferrari.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later. But let's go to the next segment, and we'll be right back with you.
See you soon. Welcome back, USF1 Nation.
What I'd like to say is happy birthday, Lance Stroll, Aston Martin. I would have known about it, but we're about to bring up his teammate.
Well, let's not move past that too quick.
Okay.
It's close to a Halloween birthday, and
it is a Halloween birthday.
I think it would be a crime for us to not comment about this wonderful set we have going for Halloween.
It is pretty good.
I have a little hand I can occasionally pet you with. A little skeleton hand.
Oh boy.
Whenever we need to just give you a little, we're going to set that right there.
I didn't even know that. Where did this come from?
That's for me to know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be playing with that for the rest of the
day. You were going to talk about his teammate. So what about his teammate?
Fernando Alonso.
It's a wonderful name. He's a good-looking guy.
400th race of his career, and the poor guy got a DNF.
He did get a DNF, but you mentioned it in the last segment that the air is thin there.
Yep.
It's high elevation. It's higher than Denver, I believe. Because I know this I'm a huge soccer fan. So U.S. soccer, when they have to play in Mexico City, it's a huge disadvantage for them. The players are breaking down. We got cars breaking down.
Yeah, cars don't run as well when you're altitude.
And I was surprised that only one of them
Yeah.
had an issue with that and had to be pulled off the track. So it wasn't like he wrecked. It was just, his engineers are saying, we got an issue.
He had a beautiful helmet for his 400. Fun fact, 400. He also had his 200th race.
Okay.
And his 300th race.
Okay.
And he DNF'd in those as well. So if he makes it to 500, if we can actually put a bet on it now, for a DNF because he's got some sort of curse going on.
So he likes the anniversary DNFs. Although in the short time I've watched, I feel like he DNFs about every 5th race. So I don't know that it necessarily is 200, 300, 400. If it's just he just likes to occasionally exit early,
go party,
go hit up the bars in Mexico City.
It's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. He just wanted a taco. He just wanted a taco. Oh, let's talk about my boys.
Yeah, I want to talk about your boys because if you look at this picture here, the person that is in first is Magnussen. So who is the number 1 or the Uno driver?
I like the reference
team?
Uno. We're in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's the number 1 driver?
Yeah.
Who's the only one of these 2 drivers who has a team or a seat next year?
I'll give you that, but he's going to Sauber.
He's going to Audi Sauber.
I know you kicked the kick out of there, but I guess if there is going to be a driver that I hope can get a point for a Sauber next year,
my concern with him going to Audi Sauber is my recollection in my prior life of owning a car dealership is that Audis are in the shop a lot, so I feel like he's going to be in the box.
Yeah. Well, and good thing though is color scheme wise, I think they're also black and red.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can pretty much just rock that same shirt.
Keep wearing because it's the only shirt I own.
Yeah.
I wore it to the wedding. I'm wearing it today.
Does it say Haas anywhere on it?
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just put some duct tape right on over that. And right in Sauber Audi, and
just
you'll be good to go.
keep wearing it forever. It's very comfortable.
But
let's get into some good drama. This is good, fun play, but let's get into some actual drama.
Now, I've been talking about this 4 weeks.
Yes, you have. You've been on this one. You've been on a lot recently.
Yeah.
I hate giving you all these accolades, but it's facts.
Horner said today, big changes are coming. Which means, I don't know, he might be gone. I think he's going to be gone.
You've been saying he's going to be gone. You think Lawson is he's gearing up. You know, he finally got a seat on RB.
Yeah, well, I don't think Yuki Tsunoda is going to move up like what he did. So, I mean, I would say, Lawson, I think will be in that seat. Somebody's going to be in that seat, and I promise you.
Quit disrespecting Yuki like that, okay? I got to interrupt you right there.
I just state facts, and, my eyes are.
So you're saying Checo is going to have to Checo himself because he is going to be gone.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
I mean, you're at the home track. It's the one time you got to show. It's your home track. It's your fans. You can't even get out of Q1. And then once he stays in the back of the track.
I think he would have been gone months ago. I honestly believe that they're like, we're going to just keep him until we go to Mexico. So could happen. Maybe not. I think at this point, if you are trying to make a run for the constructors, you have to make a change right now. If you just say, I don't mind where we're at, and we're just going to be right there, then I guess you keep Perez until the end of the year.
So you're saying right now, bring Lawson up to that spot?
I think he's going to hurt you anywhere.
No, he's going to get more points than Perez would.
Yes.
But they're going to Sao Paulo, Brazil, which actually I believe is a Portuguese-speaking country, so I don't know. Regardless, let's get into what you really want to talk about.
The meat and the potatoes?
The meat and the potatoes, the thing you want to talk about constantly, Mando Lando, and my new hatred of Max Verstappen.
Well, now after, remember the United States GP, that push-off. Now, does that seem a little more legit?
It does.
That's how Verstappen
and I argued
races.
my point, and I thought I was right, and I almost had you. He is just a bully out there, and I think he thinks he can just get away with what he wants because he's been a stud.
I think that he is threatened by Lando. He knows that Lando has a better car.
Yep.
So he got 2 penalties, one for pushing Lando off, the next one for gaining a position, going out of track limits and gaining a position. Now, they gave him 20 seconds. They also gave him, later on, 2 points on his license. So he's got 6. So
I don't know if you're joking or not right
I'm
now.
100% serious. So you have a racing license, and this is just something new.
I thought maybe he got points on his license.
His driver's license.
I'm new to F1. I've made this very clear to everyone.
So he's got 6 points. Now, 12, you get 12 points in a year.
So that's the same as an Ohio driver's license.
Well, except for he just gets a 1 race ban. So,
okay.
Basically, look out for this drama to continue.
I think that he handled it well because they put a mic in his face right after the race and said, "What did you think about when Max pushed you off?" And he was very diplomatic about it. You could tell he was upset. He looked like he's biting his tongue there. It was kind of a similar scene. He did say, you know, he's a good racer. I respect him, but you know, sometimes he pushes the boundary. But
who wasn't?
Yes,
Zach Brown. He made it.
Not the Zach Brown band.
Not the Zach Brown. Zach Brown, team principal.
Team principal of McLaren.
Yep.
He was not happy.
No, he was American mad.
I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, "How many times does this have to happen? This is ridiculous." I'm like, this guy is speaking some gospel.
Yeah.
Well, I like it.
After last week, good job, Stewart's for penalizing what he deserves. So.
Yeah, and let's keep it fair. I mean, they don't have to look for penalties, but if he's going to keep racing like that, then, you know, they need to penalize him. So we are going to check out. We'll be
see
right
you
back
next segment.
to the next segment.
USF1 fans, we are back.
And we have a spoiler alert.
Brad Pitt was also the winner of the Mexico GP.
So Sainz won.
Yes.
Why was Brad Pitt the winner other than his unbelievable looks, which I'm complimenting way too many men on their looks, that's fine.
No, we're just gonna...
Yeah, I can. If it's good, it's good.
If you do not know, Formula One, having an actual movie called Formula One coming out next year. We'll review it, make a show of
June
it.
of 25 in the theater.
Yes.
Legit cinematic show.
They are following around to all the races, and I found out on social media and through a lot of research, let's just be honest, TikTok, that Brad Pitt, this is the first race that he wins.
So in the movie, the Mexican Grand Prix is the first one, so this is going to be kind of a highlight of the movie.
So they pulled everybody off. Brad Pitt, they pulled his car up, so they had the same exact audience for the celebration. Which I think it's fantastic.
I love it. F1 is getting huge. The Netflix special brought you in. Yep. You have 3 races between Vegas and Miami and Austin in the U.S. Now we have a movie. I mean, it's getting huge. It's getting huge. And if you're going to get into it, this would be the season to do it because there's actual parity. Mm-hmm. The first time since 1981, my birth year, so 34 years old, if you know math, that there's been 6 different racers with multiple wins in the same season. Oh. That is awesome. That's fun. It's not Verstappen winning every race. I love it.
No, and there's some big names in there in 1981, and I'm sure when we go back to 2024, I mean, you got Verstappen's obviously going to be, he's going to be a legend. So
we talked about it in the first segment. That we're going to get deeper into the driver and the constructor championship race. The drivers, I still think there's not as much to talk about. I think that Max pretty much has this thing locked up. Yeah.
So favorable races coming up for Norris, but I don't know if he can close that gap. Now, even Leclerc can possibly close the gap.
I think that's
better.
A better race that Leclerc might finish second out of Norris, but Norris is racing so well. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it ends the 1-2-3 it is now, unless Verstappen has a huge accident. But Sao Paulo, the next race, does have a sprint, and Max has won every sprint, so he's been getting those 8 points, those little 8 bonus points every time.
Yep.
So that might be hard to combat for Norris.
Will he win the next sprint? I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as the constructors goes, I'm thinking Ferrari could catch up with McLaren. I don't think they will, but I think that's going to be definitely a race to watch.
You give me a little more reason on that take because I have a little bit different take. So why do you think McLaren is going to lock up the Constructors' Cup with as well as Ferrari's been doing? Is it based on the races that are coming up?
It's definitely based on the races. They all favor lots of straightaways. All favor a faster car.
Okay.
And then, fun fact, rumor has it, I don't know it to be true, but Verstappen may be changing out that power unit because obviously that car is just not doing good for him.
He's crying.
That gives him a 5-place grid penalty, which puts him that much further back too.
So it would definitely have to be a big deal to him. He has to think that's legit because his team's going to be like, we're not doing a grid penalty. The motor's fine. The power unit's fine. First
step, though, is make sure I mean, Verstappen just killing the sprints. So if he wins another sprint, gets another 8 points, it's like, I mean, he's just...
And I agree with you that this favors McLaren with all these. I know Vegas has a lot of straightaways going down the strip. I don't know as much about the others, but you told me that Qatar and Abu Dhabi and Sao Paulo, a lot of straightaways. I just think Ferrari's been doing so well the last couple of weeks. I think their momentum's going to carry, and I'm saying it now. Ferrari wins the Constructors' Cup.
Oh.
Ferrari wins the Constructors' Cup.
I like it. But where are we going next?
Why don't you tell me where we're going? I'm curious to see how you pronounce this, Mr. Leclerc.
We are going to Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Brazilian.
One more try.
Sao Paulino.
It would be Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo.
Brazil. You nailed it.
That's not Brazilian?
So there is another sprint race here, like we were saying.
Sprint race.
So that will happen on Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay, and then we'll have the race Sunday. So make sure you follow us. We're going to put up a video on Saturday after qualifying.
Yes.
So we're
just going to do it for the main race.
Yes, we won't do the sprint race.
We're going to only do it for the main race. We won't do it for the sprint race. We'll be watching it, though. You get a lot of good information.
And that gives us intel for our betting predictions so that we can win you guys the money because he did well again last week.
Oh, yeah.
So keep following up.
Yeah. So join us next week as we will break down Sao Paulo.
Love ya.